In this video, I show you how you can easily bend PVC for plumbing or decorative projects. So this was my first time actually bending PVC, and these are my first two attempts here. You can see they actually turned out really good. I tried two different kinds of PVC. I used a Schedule 40 and then a thinner PVC that I was able to find at my local hardware store. Each one had their own pros. The thinner one, you had to pinch it as you go because it softened up really quick and had the propensity to kink, while the thicker one didn't do that but took longer to heat. Now, I heated them up with a heat gun, and I had never used a heat gun before, never bent PVC, and this project turned out almost perfect, so I strongly encourage you to try this. I was going to try several different methods and show the pros and cons, but there just wasn't a need. This was so easy to do. And I tried a couple different methods. This is the first one. I used hollow PVC and just evenly heated it, bent it a little bit at a time, let it cool, then started the process over again. At the thinner pipe, I definitely had to pinch it some to keep it from kinking as I went. And you could see I'm wrapping around a charcoal starter. I also used a metal coffee can, worked just as well. Took about 10 to 15 minutes first try, and it came out almost perfect. If you are having a problem getting kinks when you go ahead and heat the PVC, one of the things you could do is go ahead and fill your pipe with sand. That's what I did. I went and took some end caps, put some foil in between so that they don't fuse. I doubt they will, but just to seal it off properly on both sides. Filled it up with sand, packed it down, filled it more, capped it off. So now whenever we go ahead and heat this, that pipe should better keep its form when we go ahead and bend it. Let's try it out. Now when you're using this thinner PVC and you get that up to temperature, it's really going to stay fairly soft for a while because that sand is really going to keep a lot of that heat because there's not a whole lot of plastic to retain the heat, so you're really heating up the sand more with the thinner one. So you just want to keep that in mind. It's a lot easier to get going. You can heat up a wider chunk and just bend it all at once, but you will also have to let it cool for a longer amount of time. Now, one of the things I've seen online is the idea of heating sand before you put it in. Well, I tried heating up the sand with the heat gun. I wouldn't want to do that in my kitchen with a linoleum or vinyl flooring in case you spill it. So anyway, heating with the sand didn't work so great because the outside of the pipe was constantly getting cooled by the air. Although it got somewhat soft and I could feel it on the inside getting soft, the outside just didn't get soft enough compared to just heating it with the heat gun directly. Okay, so here's my takeaway. Definitely heat gun is the way to go. You can get one for like 10 bucks on Amazon, or I got mine for less than 10 bucks at Harbor Freight. And whether or not you want to fill it with sand to keep the form, it definitely does keep the form. This was the one that I filled with sand. And as you can see, it's really curved nicely. There's no kinks or anything in it. This is the one that I did freeform without any sand in it. Still very nice if it's for decorative purposes and you're really not that concerned about slight bumps or anything in there and you're willing to just pinch it as you go. This is a really fast method because you've only got to heat up the PVC, and it takes a lot quicker to heat that up with the heat gun than having to heat up the PVC and all the sand that's inside of it. So when you do fill it with sand, it does take quite a bit longer to get it heated, but at the same time you can do a long portion. So when you do it without the sand, you've got to do a little piece at a time. When you have it with the sand, you can really kind of get a whole area warmed up, and it'll stay that temperature for a while, allow you to make those bends. So it's really up to you. You can experiment and see what works best for you. Either method works much better. I have no desire to try to heat up sand and pour it in these things. I definitely have no problems at all heating it up with a heat gun on the outside. If you're going to use the PVC for decorative purposes, you may want to get rid of the writing that's on there, the stamping that they put on the PVC, and you can do that using acetone. Now acetone is highly flammable, so if you're going to use this and bend the PVC, you either want to do it after the PVC is bent, or you want to make sure that you wash it thoroughly with some soap and water after you go ahead and remove it. So just go ahead and okay, since I'm going to be heating this up, I'm just going to take some hot soapy water just to be on the safe side. Rinse it off the garden hose. Dry it off. Now, as you could probably tell in the video, I was bending the PVC to make candy canes, and candy canes are a really easy project to do. I do highly recommend going with the thinner PVC if you can find it, except instead of the 40, and it just makes it a lot easier. Pack it with sand. It was really quick to heat up, really easy to bend without kinking, and then you just take some red duct tape and you've got yourself a candy cane. And you could take these hanging from trees, or you could just stake them in the ground. You can maybe cut the edge so that they're stakes. You could pretty much do whatever you want with them, and they're a really easy, fun to do project. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you learned a lot that'll help you with your projects, and I hope that you find time for your projects. And if you liked it, hit the like button. I'll see you next time. Later. Another use for these things, you can use them like, I don't know if you ever seen like Showtime at the Apollo, where they get the hook and you just